shit.
All right, we're gonna be installing these Trio aluminum knuckles. Pretty lightweight. This is what it comes with, the knuckles, bearing, some screws, bushings or whatnot. So we're gonna get those installed. We got these super cool honeycomb beadlock wheels with the super swampers. Very nice. Purple on purple, really excited. Okay, so we are installing the Trio aluminum steering knuckles, removing the plastic ones. So we've taken off the wheel and tire. We're pulling off the hex. There's a screw that holds that in place. And we already installed the other side. See if we can
Pull the tie rod.
Yep, pulling the tie rod. Installed the other side just to make sure we knew what we were doing. So it's actually pretty straightforward. Pull the tie rod off.
And we'll show you what not to do,
Yeah.
because we already did it. All right.
The ratchet does make it nice because you don't have to pull the inner fender or bend it up to try and get that knuckle off.
Tie rod's off. Pull the kingpin or ball joint bolts. And these ones are shouldered to keep everything in place. The new ones actually come with cups. And that's the part that can get you frustrated, because you might want to put them in upside down like we did, but you'll clearly see when you put them upside down, and I'll show you what it looks like. When you tighten them down, your knuckle doesn't want to turn. So there is a right and a wrong, and once you do it, it becomes fairly obvious, because one way it doesn't want to turn, and there's obviously one other way to do it. So you just push that off the axle it comes.
Yep.
We don't need the outer bearing because Trio gives you a new one. So I'll pop that one out so you can see that.
Well, and the outer bearing's a different size as well, so you can't even
So we'll open this
reuse
up.
that.
So here's the new outer bearing, and here's the stock outer bearing. Huge difference, huge. So with all that extra load, crawling, bouncing, jumping, that bearing will hold a lot more. Okay. We do need to reuse the inner bearing out of the stock knuckle. So we got to get it out. So I'm just using a tool to kind of grab the edge and just lightly bump it. And it pops out. You put it on the inside, that's the outer, that's the inner. If you get it just right, it'll go in with your fingers. Otherwise, it requires persuasion. And it can be a pain in the butt. We already fought the other one. So if it's not going in perfectly straight, it gets off-centered, and then it doesn't want to go in. It's pretty snug fit. So when in doubt, give a little tap tap. Using the other end of the socket, so I'm pushing on the outside of the race. This would be the outside of the race. You don't want to push on the center or the middle, otherwise you'll mess up the bearing. Now the bearing's in, all the way, nice and smooth. Okay, so remember these ones are the stock ones. They have the shoulder right there.
Let's see if we can focus. There we go.
The new ones have a separate shoulder for the screw. Okay. You're probably going to want to think that they would go like this and go in. But when you do that, you basically make it where it doesn't want to turn. It pinches it down too tight. So they've got to go, the collar, the flange, has to go on the inside of the knuckle, like so. One on each side. Trail sends brand new screws to go with it. I'm going to leave the outer bearing off until I'm done. You just kind of hold the upper one with your finger. And there's a flange on the axle, so there it goes. Okay, so we're just going to set that there. I do like to put just a little dab of blue Loctite on it. Okay. I'll just get it started a little bit, and I'll get the bottom one going. Okay, that one ain't going nowhere. And we'll get the other one. Just a little dab of blue Loctite. Don't need much. Get that in there. Get it started with my fingers. Okay. And then we'll snug that up. And just kind of get that where there's not a inch-pound torque. So just kind of tight with your fingers. Wouldn't be a bad idea after a run to recheck some of this hardware just to make sure. But that's why I put just a little bit of blue Loctite on it so that it more than likely isn't going to move anywhere. And the top one should be good. There we go. Person could put just a little bit of grease on that cup that I put in there if you wanted. We're going to run in water and mud and all kinds of things, so I'm going to leave that empty. Okay, you just push the bearing in. That was the outer bearing. Fits in there real nicely. Then we go do the hex. Pull the hex back out. The pin is threaded. So we'll put that hex on. And again, just a sliver of blue Loctite because don't want that. Should be captured inside the wheel hub, but just one of those things I like to have that insurance on there. Okay, tie rod. And Trio comes with a brand new screw. Again, just a dab. Put it on through and thread it on in with your fingers.
Was that screw the same as the one that came off of it?
I think so.
So you might be able to keep the old one in case you break one of these.
Okay, snug. That's done. Same on the other side. Only difference is you have the drag link from your servo. So you got one that goes on top, and then the bolt goes through.
Right there. So shine the light in here. Yep, you just got an extra link there. But real simple and straightforward. You know, the bearing is one thing. knowing that you got to pull that bearing out and put it in the other one. I didn't know that when we ordered them, but you know, we figured it out here. But really simple and easy installation. Anybody can do this. You know, give yourself a little bit of time, and as long as you got a couple tools, this is an upgrade that you can do. Tire back on.
Pull that awesome hub that threads on. Oh, don't need any wheels falling off. Just a tiny bit. All right. Gotta find the wheel nut. All right, we're all lined up.
Oh yeah, while we got you here, since we swapped out the wheels and tires, instead of pulling off the body and instead of just holding it up, a stock wheel and tire fits right in there and holds that body up really well. So instead of having to pull this body off to work on it, we just pulled the spare. Well, I don't know if it ended up being the spare for us or not because we were swapping these, but if you had the spare, you can take just a minute, set it there, and you don't have to pull the body, and it holds up there and makes it really nice to work on one of these.
All right, nice thread on hubcap. No more messing with pulling all the hub screws. Come on, get in there. There we go. And then just snug it down until it doesn't want to turn because it's just with your fingers. There we go. Done
Nice.
deal.
Hey, if you guys like this type of content, let us know. Drop a like or subscribe or leave a comment. You know, a lot of times when we're looking at upgrading things, a lot of these little details will be skipped through, and that's what we want to try to avoid. We want to try to show you every screw, every detail. You know, for the person that is just starting out and doesn't know. I know a lot of people that have probably are owning an scx6 have owned a 10 scale and learned about them, but still, if you guys like it or want to see more stuff like this or stuff like this on other scale rigs, let us know.